Hello YouTube, welcome to today's tutorial, and today we're making a scope for a gun so you can have the scope to zoom in and see enemies further away, and we're going to be doing this in Unity, and there'll be very minimal scripting or none at all. So I'm just going to add a few one asset package, which is the characters, so just so I can have a test character. Okay, so here is the most important thing, okay? You must have Unity Professional for this to work, okay? There is very few possibilities. There are any other ways to do this without Unity Professional, but if you want, you can crack it, but I don't advise it. But you know, it's worth it. I haven't cracked it. I've got it legit. So yeah. Yeah, so we'll be using a render texture. That's what's gonna create this effect of the scope. Right? Okay, we'll just wait for this to load. Okay, once you're in Unity, let's just create a cube. And let's just make this a plane. Okay. I don't like using planes because sometimes you can fall through them because they're really light. Cubes just have that little bit of extra density and that flexibility that a plane doesn't have. Okay, so once you have a cube, let's go into our standard assets. Well, I'll go into my standard assets. You might already have a character. If not, drag in the FPS controller. Okay, we're gonna do that. Lift it up. Okay, now double click on FPS controller. Click on game object 3D capsule. If you're using an older version of Unity, the capsule will already be there. Do not do that step. Click apply. Okay, now we'll just look at the which way is going forward. Okay, that's important. Now let's create another cube. This can be our gun. Okay, it's not gonna be that big, hopefully. Okay, so let me just reduce that. So this is gonna be a mixture of really two cubes, nothing more. Let me just head over to that. Okay, ready? Duplicate that, Command D or Control D, and then I'm gonna click E to rotate it, and I'm just gonna rotate this on 90 degrees. Perfect. Now once I've done that, let me just give it some height. Then bring it here, and that looks horrible, but yeah, that's gonna be fine for today. That's gonna be a gun. Okay, and one last thing for our gun is our scope. Obviously, let's add that in. Double click on the cube on top. Make sure you double click on the hierarchy, and now click cube. Now just scale this down a lot. Okay, just so it's like same width. Bring that back up. Okay, let's lift this up and make it really thin. Okay, so just let me get this right. I wanna make it cool, at least. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a really thin cube there, like that. That's fine. And now I'm gonna label each one. This can be my scope. This can be my gun head, and not this one. Gun body. Okay, so now let's create a empty, and this can be called our gun. Okay, let me drag the gun head, drag the scope, and the gun body into the gun. We will not actually be focusing on scripting today. Okay, now what you're going to do is drag this gun object into the first person character, not controller, character. Okay, once you've done that, view the first person character, see if you can see the gun. Okay, and you're gonna level the gun so you can actually see it. So let's see. There we go, we can see it now. And let's bring it a bit closer to the camera. So, yep. There you go. Let me just bring this down. And for tutorial sake, let's just do this. So I can actually show you the results. Right. So right now, this is what our game looks like. Okay, not that interesting. Okay, so what we need to do now is double click on the scope, game object, camera. Okay, now once you've got a camera, let's just bring this in front of the scope, right? Just perfectly in front of the scope. So the more perfect it is, the more perfect it's actually gonna shoot. So let's change the field of view to 8. Okay, 8. Make sure it's 8. You can adjust if you don't want it to be too like zoomed in. You can go 10. I'm gonna go 8. And I'm just gonna set up some test objects up here somewhere, and let's just check this camera, and we can't see it because reasons. Hold on, it's too far away, I guess. Oh, you actually can see it. In the wrong cube. I'm actually gonna make this bigger and add a material. Let's add a material and let's make it red so it stands out in the sky. And I'm just gonna add this to the cube 1. Okay, and let's check this camera. Yes, we can see it even though it's that far away. Now let's move it back. Let's see, the distance is that far away. Okay, let's go around here. That's heaps away. You can still see it though. Okay, I'm just gonna bring it in here. See, look at this distance that it can cover, right? I had to go all this way. That's heaps. Okay, it could be like several thousand miles. I'm joking, but it's a lot of distance. Okay, yeah. So what? We got a camera, and first actually drag the camera into the gunner. Okay, now we got a camera. So now what are we gonna do? Okay, here's where Unity Professional comes in. You're gonna right click, create, render texture. This won't be in the normal version of Unity, unfortunately. And I'm gonna call this scope. Okay, and what we're gonna do now is click on this camera, and where you can see camera, it says target texture. Right click this and click on scope. Okay, now when you click on this, you can see the camera down here in the bottom right corner. Now what you're gonna do is drag the scope material into the scope. Okay, now watch this. We just have a fully functional scope. No, as you can see, the scope is inverted. We're seeing it everything opposite. This can be fixed. If yours is not like that, leave it, but mine's normally like that. Just bring this and rotate it this way 180 degrees, so it's upside down in the camera, right? But when you're actually viewing it, it's not upside down. As you can see, we can see a little red dot inside the scope, and if you see an actual game, it's really far away. You can barely see it, but here in the scope, you can see it perfectly, and in real life, like when playing, you can be able to shoot that using your crosshair, which will be another tutorial. So let's just have another target. So let me just duplicate that. And let me just bring it closer and there. Okay, just see how magnified this is, right? Okay, look how far away that is, but on the scope, if we can get it, there. Look how big it is. That would be so easy to hit if this was an FPS. But obviously the scope will not be that big. It will be a little bit smaller. I'm not trying to be a perfectionist, but yeah. Should be like around that height. Oh, should be actually a heap smaller. We could just have like a floating scope. Future technology. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I will see you in the next tutorial about how to create a crosshair in Unity. See you guys. Have fun till then.